Who has the better truck, GMC or Ram? I could just end this video right now and start a huge fight in the comment section, but I won't do it to you guys. I'll actually do a nice video for you to really show you which one is the better buy, because there is actually one here today that's the better buy. I borrowed the Ram from Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Santa, Utah. Jerry Seiner, GMC, has this truck here. They're both available for sale. Be sure to reach out to Frank and Jan. Let's go ahead and get started. All the cool kids still love blackout. Regardless of how you look at it, GMC does not get that memo. They just don't get it. They will continue to offer this GMC Denali HD this way, regardless of how many times people buy the AT4 over it, which is why we're going to change trucks right now. There it is. So I have on my right a 2025 Ram 3500 Laramie with Night Edition, and this is going to be your 2025 GMC Sierra 3500 with the AT4 package. Now, most people call this an off-road package, but let's be honest, this is a sport package. So let's talk about pricing really quickly. We're going to look at the base price of these trucks, and I'll show you guys the MSRP, starting with the GMC. At the very top is the description with the colors. And then here's a short listing of the standard equipment. So base price comes in at $72,200. And let's just call it one package. This is the AT4 Premium Plus. Gives you a lot of nice features. So that tech package comes in there, which gives you that rear camera mirror and then the heads-up display, gooseneck, high idle switch, and trailer tire pressure is 50 bucks. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $90,160. Here's the Ram. Base price comes in at $78,845. And this one has quite a few options on it. It has the fifth wheel, Night Edition, Laramie Level 2. A few other things here. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $90,820. Now, when you consider the base price of these trucks, Ram cost $6,635 more. And remember, you won't have this blackout appearance on it. You won't even have 20-inch wheels, although GM is going to be the same story. You're not going to have 20-inch wheels on this truck either. However, they do both come standard with painted bumpers. Now, as far as the MSRPs go, the Ram costs $660 more. And that's simply in part to the fact that you still have to add more packages on this truck. I'm not going to price it in this video, but this truck doesn't have clearance lights. This one does. Also, this one here has a front camera. I did a video literally on this truck, and I was not planning to do this video today, but I want to prove a point just so people can see what I'm talking about here. That plus package, was it the Premium Plus package on the GMC? That package gives you everything you could ever want on this truck. Literally, you get everything you want. So it does have painted bumpers, standard on AT4, front parking sensors, standard. And on the Ram, you do get standard front parking sensors. These painted bumpers do come standard on Laramie, which is nice. However, if you want that 360 camera view, you're gonna have to spend about $1,100 and something dollars more. I think it's $1,135 just to get a camera system and something else, which we'll go over in a second. But black recovery hooks versus the red ones, and both trucks look really good. One thing about the Ram that's kind of funny, they do give you the Sport Performance hood, a part of that black appearance package. It's not functional, but this one is when you get the diesel engine. But you do have heat extractors, which should help with cooling for the Ram. Now let's talk about tires and size. On the GMC, they do give you the Goodyear Wrangler Trail Runner ATs. I personally love these tires. I've put almost 20,000 miles on these, and the tires were like pretty brand new for the most part. This is going to be an LT 275 65 20. It's going to have 3,750 pounds of capacity at 80 psi, made in the USA. Now these tires are 34.1 inches tall, 10 8.8 inches wide. Okay, so here are the Rams. Firestone Transforce AT2s. I've had these tires too, and with about probably similar towing, I would say, these need to be replaced back 20,000 miles or so. They would have had to for sure. But this is an LT285 6020. Has 3,640 pounds of capacity at 80 psi. These are made in probably China, and this is 33.5 inches tall and 11.2 inches wide. So it is a little bit wider tire, but it is not as tall as the GMs. Okay, I should not have said that. They're not made in China. They're made in Akron, Ohio. I just had to look it up real quickly just to verify. But as far as the headlights go, what do you guys think? I think GM still makes the prettiest trucks compared to everyone else. Ram is probably a little bit more tougher, especially with that Sport Performance hood. But as far as all the badging goes, you guys see they do black out everything on the Ram. On GM's trucks, they give you like this like black chrome for the AT4. It looks nice, a little bit of black treatment here, but they still give you these badges. You can black these out after the fact when you buy your truck. I didn't talk about the front suspension, but you have independent for the GM, solid front for the Ram. Depending on who you talk to, Ram wins that. Both trucks do have the power deployable running board. So these trucks are almost as apples to apples as it comes when it comes down to options. They do paint the door handles here. Smart key system just for the front doors. Ram wins on the mirrors. They just have more functions. You have top and bottom heat and power. You only have heat for this one, and this is not power. So yeah, they both have the lights here, and they have the front lights too. They're both power for tow mode, power for power folding. So yeah, they both have a lot of functions there. Now this is a mega cab, so mega cab, I don't know, depends on how you look at it. Up front, it loses against the GM, and we'll see that here in a second. But in the rear, the Ram is just hands down the best. You do only have one camera up here. However, you do have two cameras. These power folding glass, I believe, might be an option on the GMC. I have to look at that here in a second. But on the Ram, it should stay standard for Laramie. Full LED tail lights on both sides. So you do have a more upgraded tailgate that does come standard. They are both assisted. GMC is going to win for the tailgates for sure. You have rear parking sensors, which obviously comes standard. If you see front parking sensors, typically the rear ones are always going to be standard too. LED license plate lights, although they use incandescent for that GMC. And both trucks are going to have a temporary tire underneath. This is going to be a 342 with an anti-spin versus the GM, and as I said, you can have a temporary spare tire. Although 342, which they were first to do that, although I guess Ram was first because they had a 342 back in what, 2018, an earlier pickup. So, but that's not really an advantage or disadvantage, it's just the way they gear the trucks. But yeah, this has a G80, so it's gonna have an automatic locker. I think I'd rather have that automatic locker versus the anti-spin. I mean, it's kind of like a locker, kind of, but not really. Let's talk about bed size for a second. Cab size, I think Ram's probably gonna win that simply because of the extra storage. But bed size, this is a 6'4" bed, and with Mega Cab, you have a 31-gallon fuel tank. That's it. Also, this does have a 7.5 gallon DEF tank. By the way, I always leave these caps on too. This makes me feel better. For the GMC, you have 5 more gallons of diesel to lug along, which is 36, and this is 7 gallon. Now, this does have a high flow tank. So if you're at a truck stop, you can launch it in there. On that Ram, sometimes it works. On my other Ram truck I own, it didn't. I've owned both these trucks. This is better. As far as the leaf pack goes for the suspension, you guys see right there, you have 5 leaves with 2 overloads. Ram only gives you 5, or excuse me, I said 5. Only 4 leaves in this pack, no overloads. And that bottom on both sides is going to be a helper spring. Yes, GM won that too. Because GM does have the bigger bed, you do have better clearance for the cab if you're towing a fifth wheel or gooseneck trailer, and they added the fifth wheel prep package slightly behind the axle, so that should help too. Again, with Ram trucks, the smaller bed means you're gonna probably need a slider hitch, or you're gonna have to update your system to a gooseneck and then put an offset ball in here, and that should help. But again, my humble opinion is GM just does it a little bit better than Ram guys. And I love Ram trucks, it's just right now it's still the same story. These trucks are just a little bit better, and I think Ram needs to do a better job with the pricing. Let's talk about the powertrains next. Take 22. This is tough. I did not know how hard this was going to be before I start talking about powertrains and drivetrains. So we have to break this up a little bit. If you think about horsepower, GM is the horsepower leader between these two trucks, obviously. So it's going to have 470 horsepower out of this Duramax compared to 430 horsepower out of this Cummins. They did fix the Cummins for 2025. No longer is this just a work truck powertrain. Now, when you think about torque, well, Ram has more torque because this has 1,075 pound-feet of torque compared to 975 pound-feet of torque. Now, as far as the horsepower goes, this has 40 more horsepower. So the Cummins with the torque has 100 pound-feet more. And with that inline 6, that 8-speed is just, it's flawless. Although this has a 10-speed transmission, they both now have 342 rear ends standard across the board. So who wins? That's a hard one. 15W40 oil versus the 10W30 in the Ram. This has a Denso fuel pump, which I think I like better. This has the Bosch CP8. So who wins? I just don't know. I guess I'll have to do a drive video in the future. Stay tuned. That's what we'll do. We'll do a drive video in the future, and I'll be able to probably make it clear with the numbers. But if I had to pick an engine today, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Let's move on. So here's the main reason why I did this video. Ram has the smallest cabs known to mankind. Even with this mega cab, seats all the way back, look at how much space you have up front. And you don't really need a tape measure. Let's close the door. Now the seat is, I don't lean my seat back. I'm getting older. I like my seat more straight up. But when you think about the type of space you have in here, now you do have the power pedals, right? Yep. Let's push those all the way in. So that does make it, actually that makes it a little bit better. That makes it a little bit better. But again, there's not as much space in this truck compared to what I know I have in my GMC. Let's go ahead and quickly check that out. Do you guys see how much bigger the door is? There it is. You guys see how much bigger it is? This is a bigger door, which means you have more space. Now let's see. The seat should be all the way back. No, it wasn't all the way back. Can you see what I see? I know you guys see it. It's just no comparison. You don't have power pedals on this truck, but you do have a tilt and telescoping steering wheel, which is not available for that Ram. You only have a tilt. But getting inside this truck, I'm serious, it's so much bigger. Look how much, my legs are almost straight. I almost have to push my seat up in this cab. And look at the space you have in this truck. Look at that. That looks weird on camera, but yes, you have more space down below here. And seriously, I have to push my seat up just a little bit. There you go. You have more headroom in this truck, even though this one has the sunroof. And yes, the only advantage to that Ram is the rear, because you have the mega cab. But here's the problem. If you need a long bed truck, you can get that with the AT4. You cannot get a long bed with the mega cab. You have to go to a crew cab. And this test is a slaughterhouse with the crew cab. Just saying, because you have a 11,800 pound GVWR. So that payload is going to suffer a little bit with a crew cab option this way. But 12-inch display, they both have that. You don't have heads-up display for the Ram. Just saying. You can get on the half tons, but not on the HDs yet. So with that being said, 13.4-inch display versus the 14.5. I'll show it to you in a second, but you don't have, oh gosh, I forgot. I have to put my seatbelt on. You can disable this. But yes, on the screen, you'll see 360 camera view. When you package a GM truck, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get every single option you want. There's nothing extra to get when you get that, what is it, the Premium Plus package here. When you get that package, AT4 Premium Plus, for $5,000, it gives you everything. You have the 360 camera, you have the heads-up display, you have the 4K camera, and the RAM, let's check it out. Heads-up display, not available. The 4K camera for the review is an option alongside of this. So you don't even have the 360 camera view. And so at $90,000, there's just options missing on this truck, and some things are not even available. But don't get me wrong, this Ram truck does have this advantage over GMC. This screen is light years ahead. There's so many more ways you can customize it. They have all the information that you could ever want. Now you do have drive modes for the GMC, however not with this one, although the off-road pages for this truck are so much nicer, and I like the towing and trailer system a little bit better for this one too. It gives you the temperature gauges there, shows you just a little bit more cleaner layout. Also, if you are someone who does plan on going off-road, their off-road pages are really nice on the Ram, and it does show you the altitude, which I love. But yeah, you don't have the dual chargers for that GMC, not even available. You only have one. Also, this is the 14.5-inch display, which personally I think is a huge step in the right direction for sure. It's very quick and it's just more customizable, although the GM's is probably easier to learn, I would say. And Ram kills the game with this center console. Ain't nobody close. By the way, you do have, yeah, that deeper storage there, but you have a power plug here and out back. GM only gives you one, and it's in a really awkward spot here. Also, I do like the top storage here. Let's go over here to the GM. This storage above does have like this velvet material, which I like. It's not illuminated. However, one thing that GM does great is they give you this truck camper loading information. So it shows here 2,918 pounds of capacity for this truck. Ram don't give you nothing. They just kind of whistle away if you ask that question. By the way, they both have a black headliner. Now, the one negative thing about the AT4's interior too is some people don't like the Kalahari or the tan accent. Some people just prefer it to be all black or maybe even red. I mean, I'm actually shocked they didn't go with red because, you know, they have red pretty much throughout this interior. But yeah, this center console is okay. I have it, obviously. Ram's is way better. And you only have that one power plug, 120 volt, 2 USBs. Ram gives you a lot more USBs too in comparison, I would say. And both have heated ventilated seats, dual climate control, nothing new there. But out back, I think the Ram's gonna win this simply because if you have older kids or older adults going with you on a trip, you just have the option to recline these rear seats. Although I do like these little storage cubbies on both sides. You have that armrest, outboard heated seats, USBs. Let's check out the Ram. The top storage right here is illuminated, which is not available for the GMC. And then there's your glove box. No information for your bed camper. By the way, both trucks do have a 10-way seat, including lumbar. And there are suede inserts on the leather seats for the Ram, but it's not a big deal for some people. I like how wide this door opens too. This is where you get a lot of that space. Tons of storage below the seat here, and you guys can see the seats are reclined right there. You also can do a solid floor surface back here. This is a better truck, guys. Just saying. I think that if when it's all said and done, you have this extra storage behind the seat. It's just a better truck. That's why the Mega Cab is mostly what you see on the roads, right? And it's because of this huge back seat. There is a slight hump here. And yeah, 4 more USBs, outboard heated seats, and you have, like I said, the 2 They're 115 volt here, but they're 120 volt on that GMC. But yeah, not a big deal there either. Well, yeah, like I said, guys, I think the Ram still wins for the mega cab. Let's check out the numbers on the door. Gross axle weight rating out front is going to be 5,600 pounds. There is a camper package to upgrade that. Gross axle weight rating in the rear is class leading at 7,250 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 12,100 pounds. You guys see 20 by 8.5 wide wheels. All-in payload is 3,668 pounds, and this truck weighs 8,432 pounds on the curb. And they give you all the towing numbers on the door. Thank you, GM. Ram is class leading for the front gross axle weight rating at 6,000 pounds. Standard. Gross axle weight rating in the rear is 7,000, so they're last place there. Gross vehicle rating is going to be 12,300 pounds. And keep in mind, they can manipulate that number however they please. They just can't go over 14,000 pounds. You guys see there, 20 by 8 wide wheels. All-in payload, shockingly, is higher. 3,830 pounds. Wow. So yes, Ram has more payload, though I think the GM might have better towing capacity. I think. I didn't look that up, but you'll see it here for the Ram. So the reason why I did this video is because this is very important for people who are looking to purchase trucks. You can go to a dealership and now look for any one of these trucks, depending on where you live at in the country, and have a great selection. And 9 times out of 10, I think that GM is just a better truck because of the pricing. The packaging is where they win, though. It's not because it's cheaper, it's because you just get everything in one package. Like, this truck has clearance lights, and it's because of that premium plus package. Like, it's just the littlest basic things that Ram should just do better. The packaging sucks on Ram trucks. It just does. You have to get another package on top of the already highest package you can get. They should just lump it all together. That way it's just easier to buy these trucks. But if you don't get that tow tech, you don't get the rear view camera with the 4K, and you don't get the 360 camera view. Very silly. If Ram priced their trucks better, because they have the older cabs and older beds, they potentially could be the better truck if they just had a lower starting price and just not add so many rebates throughout the year. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? I think that the GMC won this today. I like the Ram trucks. I'm definitely a big fan of the mega cab, but the packaging is where this truck suffered in this video.